to leave it off to see if maybe that affects the connection. I don't know if that's chewing up bandwidth. But what's up?
Hey,
What's
everybody.
up?
Hey, John.
Rob,
What's up,
Booby.
buddy?
What's
Booby!
up? Hey, Lewis is in the chat. What's up, Lewis? Welcome to the Heroes World presents the Sidekick Show live on Mondays. It is February 8th. I don't know if my internet cut out or if Rob's freezing again or if he's making
No. I can. Yeah.
All right, we're still in. So I may or may not cut out because I'm having a lot of issues here.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe whatever internet service you have procured is not working. I don't know if it's tech savvy. I don't know if it's Bell or Rogers, but you may want to look at changing it up.
No, well, I'm using another system here, so I'm thinking it's maybe the Wi-Fi. I guess the Wi-Fi is not as strong as the other system I was using, so I'll have to relocate. So next episode, you'll see me in a different spot, although you might not know because I usually drop this green screen behind me. So anyways,
you got to get yourself a mesh router system. Make it better for yourself. Hey, buddy.
I think I'm gonna drill holes in the floor and just pull actual cables. I think I'm at that point now. So cheers to anyone joining us.
Yeah, good luck drilling holes in your floors, man.
Well, they'll be strategically placed holes. I won't choose like the dead center of the room.
Just be random holes going. I don't know why I keep hitting the joists. I don't know. This floor wasn't creaking before, but sure as shit is now.
Yeah, when we first moved in. So this is the top tip to everybody moving into a new house or taking over an old house or whatever. We were wiring the place up and got lazy to get cords upstairs, and we kind of gave up because we'd had to cut up the floor, or not cut up the floor, but cut parts into the wall to find out where you can drop these wires. And we were just like, nah, it's okay. We'll use wireless. And man, do I regret that decision. So 100%, if you're getting a new place, wire it up, rip up whatever you got to rip up to get it connected, and then fix it. It's pretty easy to fix drywall. If any of you are on a TikTok, they got videos. Every other swipe is like how to patch a hole in your drywall. So I think I'm gonna have to.
Oh, and just as John is talking about his internet,
Super Bowl trailers.
Just as John is talking about his internet, he starts to freeze out.
I think I'll get my part over with, and then we can move to Rob because this is getting ridiculous, folks. So let's see. New releases comic wise, we have Amazing Spider-Man 59 is dropping, Daredevil 27. So in the new Daredevil series, Chip Zdarsky is really making some waves. Elektra has stepped in to the Daredevil role as of 2 issues ago. So it's pretty interesting development. People are going crazy. The issue 25, where it first happened, is going for mad money on the aftermarket right now. And yeah, so it's definitely check that out. It's not the first time someone's taken over for Daredevil, but apparently people are really digging it. What do we got? DC is into the final stretch of their future state stuff. So there's a couple more weeks to go, and then we'll be over with this, and then you'll see a whole bunch of the what's it called? The new creative teams coming on after this. So we've got Future State Dark Detective #3, because that's going to be a 4-parter. Green Lantern 2, Justice League 2, Kara Zor-El Superwoman #2, Robin Eternal #2, Superman Wonder Woman #2, and Teen Titans #2. So Teen Titans #1 actually got a lot of heat because someone else put on the Deathstroke mask. So a lot of people grabbed that #1. So if you're interested to see what's going on there, definitely check that out. We also have a new Mobius book, Bond of Blood. And then we have, here's the 5th time, Rorschach #5.
Nope. No, it's not the 5th time.
Rorschach.
And it's also there you go.
Rorschach.
Okay. Got it on the second go.
Rorschach. If you guys are tuning in, I've butchered the title of this book at least 5 times.
Nope, more
and counting. And then
But now we know how you seduce your wife. Roar.
Yeah. And then Wolverine, Black, White, and Blood, X-Force 17. And we just got in the new Magic set last week. So Kalahim. Okay, I should have looked this up before. Kalahim is the brand new Magic set, just dropped last week, Friday. And then I did want to bring up some other fun stuff. So let's jump into something here that came out last week. I figured we have a little fun here. I think I sent this to Rob. Some of you might have seen this on my feed. let's talk Hot Toys. So Hot Toys are manufactured. They make these really high-end collectible action figures in the 1/6 scale. So they're basically like dolls. They come with real clothing, lots of accessories, multiple heads. They usually sculpt the head of whatever famous person is on there, and they've become amazing. Sorry if you hear my daughter in the background. She wouldn't leave me alone, so she's hiding in here somewhere behind the green screen. So this one is, funnily enough, me and Rob, we covered Batman and Robin during our worst movie segment, and there was a lot of jokes going around. McFarlane picked up the DC line, and they're producing a lot of figures. So people were like, "Oh, maybe they're going to do Batman and Robin." There was kind of like a pre-April Fool's joke coming out that they listed a whole bunch of Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. So now we've got Batman Forever figures. So this is crazy. Like I must say, the suit from this movie actually looks not bad upon retrospect. And then they are doing the Robin here. You'll notice something pretty funny here. There's the bat junk. It's kind of out of control on this Robin.
The cod pieces that first of all, it's just a really bad shadow angle on Robin right now. Or he's hung like a horse. One or the other.
I don't remember the movie. We didn't get to this movie on the rewatch, which Rob claims is the better of the two Batman.
Of the Schumacher movies, it is. Yeah. But the cod pieces are atrocious. And they were atrocious we talked about this in the Batman and Robin. It was so ridiculously huge for no absurd reason. So the detail in the costume is phenomenal. I mean, look at that. These look really, right?
These look really cool. So if you're into collecting, this is considered a higher end collectible. So something like this, a figure like this, is going to be around $350 to $400, and then you'll probably have to get both. So you're looking at maybe like a $600 to $800 investment if you want to get into these guys here. But they are really cool if you're into movies and things like that. Hot Toys. This is something we can order in for you guys and save you a lot. So I am on the Sideshow website right now, so you can order them directly from Sideshow, or you can order them from stores like us that can buy from Sideshow. And hopefully, what we do for you is we save the trouble of all the customs duties, all that hassle, and get things shipped from the US. So if you are interested in stuff like this, obviously this is a little on the sillier side. They do a lot of serious stuff like the Star Wars. They do a lot of the Mandalorian pieces and things like that. So I just thought that'd be something fun to bring up and show that we can get in for you. So these are all the accessories. It comes with multiple hands. It usually comes with a stand, and it's just kind of like this one. It doesn't look like it comes with the Val Kilmer unmasked. This is Val Kilmer, right?
Say his name again.
Kilmer.
There we go.
Val Kilmer. Kilmore is a different guy.
Right. It was maybe wanted for murder.
But this one will usually, this jaw piece down here will usually be what comes out, and it'll have a couple different expressions for you to put on there. I should have brought let me see if can I quickly go to the Robin. Let's go to the Robin for a quick second, just have some fun. So these are nice alternative to statues, or if you just like movie stuff. It's you don't see a lot of statues of just plain movie stuff. So the Hot Toys is really kind of cornering this market. But yeah, so they're posable if you're into posing the stuff.
Like, I don't know if it's the paint application. I don't know if it's the paint application or the shadow from the photo. But like, if I'm Chris O'Donnell,
that looks pretty good though. Look at the likeness of the face though.
Well, so what I'm saying is, if I'm Chris O'Donnell, I'd be buying up a whole whack of this shit and be like, that's right. See,
it's immortalized in plastic.
Right. It's the face mask is ridiculous. But just as ridiculous as his codpiece. Let me just kind of reiterate though what John was just saying with respect to actually purchasing stuff from the Sideshow website. I like to go on the Sideshow website or the Prime One website or whatever else. And like, oh, okay, prices. But then honestly, with the way that our dollar is and the actual import fees, sometimes they can be a third of the overall cost of these statues or figurines. So it is something to consider. So I just want to, and the reason I'm telling you that is because, I've, purchased some statues from John. And I had friends of mine who have gone to the store who purchased some statues or who have done it through Sideshow. And they tell me the cost of the shipping, just to like the shipping and duties to bring it out here on, let's just say, $1,000 statue could be $400. It's somewhat stupid. So if you are interested in getting these, whether it's the hot toys or any of the statues, if you do see something on the Sideshow website that you do really like, it makes the most sense to get it through your LCS or like through Heroes World, because it will save you a shit ton of money.
Yeah, no, well put, Rob. Yeah, and sometimes you can get lucky. So sometimes people will be like, I ordered it, I got no shipping charges, no nothing, I got it to my door, I saved a ton of money. And hey, that's great. But if you're comfortable with us and you want us handling that portion for you, or sometimes we just have stuff on hand at the store. So if you want to come see it in person, you won't be able to touch the Robin. I'll show it to you, but no touching. But yeah, we can set that up for you. So sideshow collectibles.com, you check them out. We can bring in a lot of their stuff on there.
Yeah,
so I think that's it for new releases that I got. Rob, you want to talk? Do we want to talk some news, or you want to jump into the comments, or you've been watching the comments?
Well, I'm mostly actually just looking at the fact that both Michelle and Sarah are very much focused on Robin's cod pieces.
Hey, something for the ladies. If it was a female figure in there, you'd see some other exaggerated proportions as well too. So,
well, what are those? Is it those Bijouju figurines?
Bishojo is like a Japanese,
from Kurobakia. Yeah, they're like heightened, right, on their stuff. So,
Tim's making reference to our podcast, which we'll mention later. What's up, Tim? He's not staying long. Congrats on the new place. So
he's not staying long because he might be picking up that new Robin statue. Let's get. Sorry, Sarah, your birthday gift idea is gone. Let's get into some news. You were talking about Future State, John. Hey, so did you hear that DC is apparently changing Black Adam's name? Have you heard about that?
I saw that. Yeah, I thought it was a joke.
Well, so supposedly, according to Bleeding Cool website, who seems to be very on top of industry news and rumors and whatnot, Black Adam's name from the Shazam comics is no longer going to be called Black Adam, but it's being changed to Shazadam. That's right, Shazadam.
If you smell what Shazadam is cooking.
Now, apparently, Brian Michael Bendis took to Twitter and Instagram a few days ago and was like, rumors, blah, blah, blah. He was kind of passing it off as nothing more than BS. Unfortunately, though, I guess DC they release a courtesy copy to some retailers, I guess a couple weeks in advance or whatever, and somebody scanned a copy and it shows that that's how he likes to be called. Now, will this stick? Likely not. I can't see The Rock being happy with being called Shazadam. I think, Black Adam is the history for that character. But just the idea that Brian Michael Bendis wants to change the character's name to Shazadam and at least have it stick for a few issues is preposterous to me, but what do I know, right? I just read them. An update on the Blade movie, John. We haven't had a lot of information since, was it San Diego Comic-Con or was it D23 in 2019 when Kevin Feige brought out Mahershala Ali and said he has been signed to play Blade. It's been really quiet on that front with respect to...
addressed it after that Marvel thing, said we're working on it, but we're not going to show you anything or something. I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, so right now we had two small pieces of information came out in the last week. The first is the title. Now this might come as a bit of a shock to you, John, but the title, as it stands right now, is called Blade, the Vampire Hunter.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's exactly what the comic is. And as well, they found a writer in Stacey Osei Kuffer, who is a playwright and was an editor and writer on HBO's Watchmen. So she has been brought on board. She's very excited to dig in to the world of Blade, and she'll be writing that. No word on when filming starts, but they got the writer, so I'm assuming, maybe in the next 18 months or so, they start rolling on that, because I'm under the impression Marvel is going to want that out sooner than later. And no, Michelle, Shazadam is not a joke. That's an actual thing. Hey, so last night, John, you were kind of cutting in and out at the beginning of the show. We're talking, you were at least talking about the Super Bowl. Did you happen to watch the game last night?
No. No, at all. I don't sports. We know this. I don't sports.
Yeah. Well,
I like how Rob claimed to sports, and then someone asked him which team you got to win, and he's like, well, I don't know, one of them.
The one that wins. So we, usually in the Super Bowl, John, we actually get a whole whack of trailers. This year, obviously, we didn't, because we don't know when stuff's coming out. However, we got three that I want to talk about, John. There was probably these are the biggest three. The first one was a new movie by M. Night Shyamalan. The movie's called Old. It was about a 30-second, really quick teaser. Did you happen to see it? I'm going to assume no.
I did. I did not see that. Yeah, I watched the one you sent me.
Okay, so
it's coming up, but you did not tell me to watch these other ones.
No, whatever. So the one on Old, it appears that a family goes to this island, maybe for a vacation. It's an uncharted island, maybe. I'm not really too sure. The two young kids who might be 6 or 8 go running off and exploring, and they come back for lunch, and they have somehow grown to be teenagers or early 20-year-old men. So something is mysterious about the island, hence title Old. It looks pretty cool, just for the 30 seconds I saw. The second one we saw, John, I'm surprised you didn't talk about this. Fast 9 released a 30-second updated teaser.
It's never coming out.
Vin Diesel talking all about family. Obviously, we have the return of Han. And as well, it looked like Bow Wow might be back. It looks like Bow Wow from Tokyo Drift might be back. Because there was a brief glimpse of him sitting at the table. It's interesting though. The end of the movie doesn't tell you when. It says coming soon to theaters only. So we'll see about that. And finally, was the best trailer of the night, John. Went to I guess it was about close to 2 minutes. Was The Falcon and the Winter Soldier from Disney Plus. Man, I'm gonna tell you, this had me hyped. I am super excited for it. I cannot wait. March 19th is the premiere, the first of 6 episodes, I believe. And John, I know you share my excitement, don't you?
Yeah, I watched it. In our group chat, I had to pour a little water on the hype fire. I was kind of making fun of it, but I actually did quite enjoy it. I think it's exactly what I'm looking for in the Marvel TV shows. It looked good. It looked expensive. We got a little kind of teaser of who's going to be holding the shield and things like that. We got a little bit of a Lethal Weapon-ish type buddy, 2 guys that shouldn't get along, but they get along to get things done. And then the return of I forgot what her character is, Sharon Carter.
Yep.
Return of Sharon Carter, which I actually really like that actress. I think she I forgot what else she was in, but she's been in a bunch of stuff that I liked. But yeah.
It was interesting. They on purpose did not show us John Walker, aka the U.S. agent. You saw him running onto a football field, very much like Super Bowl, with his back turned. So they did not show his face. Interesting as to why. We're at this point where Marvel doesn't do anything by accident. They purposefully do things. So, at any rate, the whole trailer was, as you said, it was high octane. It was fun. I showed my son; he was all hyped for it. It looked exactly what I wanted out of a Disney Plus series that we might not really be getting with the WandaVision, which I'm okay with what we're getting, but this is something that really has me super pumped and hyped. So I'm quite excited for that. And we have 2 more items, John. First, these ones came out today, so this is kind of weird. It seems every Monday we have something new coming out. You have turned into a bit of a Fortnite fan, haven't you?
Yeah, I've all of a sudden become quite enamored with this game, if that's the word.
It is, and you
fits
said
exactly what I want it to be. And it's a lot of fun. But yeah, what do we got coming up for Fortnite?
Well, so there's there's always data mines and these leaks happening. Do you have that photo I sent you earlier or no?
I have it, but I don't. Let me.
It's okay.
See, this guy always puts me on the spot and makes me look like a chump. But all he does is he sends me these photos, and then he doesn't say, "Hey, have this ready for tonight." He just sends it to me, and that's it. And then when we're on the live broadcast, he's like, "Do you have that photo ready?" Like just assuming that you want me to queue it up.
Well, listen, while you're doing that, we all know obviously last season, season 4 was the big Marvel event, a lot of Marvel skins. But this season has been all about the bounty hunters, and you've had the Mandalorian, you had the Terminator, the T-800 series. You apparently Lara Croft is coming as well, but for whatever reason, they also had Green Arrow, like the Stephen Amell version of Green Arrow, was the skin. And now today they released, it's a leak at least, that somebody has data mined and found. And John, if you want to bring it up, this looks amazing. Look at this. That's the Flash. That's
your boy.
So that's obviously the version from the TV show, although a lot more muscle and a lot more yellow pinstripe. A lot more pinstripe on the costume. But the Flash looks like he'll be coming to the Fortnite map. So if you're a fan of the Flash, whether it's the DC Arrowverse or just of the character in general, it looks like you'll be able to get your own Flash skin on Fortnite probably pretty soon, within the next maybe week or two. And the last one I want to talk about is a huge rumor that came out today, John. Rumor is, and this is strictly rumor and nothing's been confirmed yet, but that Marvel / I guess more Sony has offered Keanu Reeves the role of Kraven the Hunter in a standalone movie that will obviously lead into something with Spider-Man down the road. So the offer is out there for Keanu Reeves to take up the mantle of Kraven the Hunter in Sony's Spider-Verse set of live action movies. And I found it to be really timely, because if anybody has listened to our podcast that came out yesterday, Andre always does a what's new with Andre, and he actually highlighted the new Marvel signature series of Kraven's Last Hunt, the collected edition that is just new into the stores. So he was actually talking about it in yesterday's podcast, and word of this came out today. So that was quite timely. So that's what we call synergy, John. So that's pretty cool. What are your thoughts on Keanu Reeves as Kraven?
I think as stated in our chat, Keanu Reeves can't do any wrong right now. He's projected himself as such a cool dude. Kraven is interesting. It certainly fits, because he would probably want to play a character and then bounce. So Kraven is one of those Spider-Man villains that isn't always around. So he could play the role and take off. I would have liked to see him as one of the heroes. I don't know. Did we pin him to play Namor or something like that at one point? Or
I think one of us did. It sure as hell wasn't me, because I couldn't give two shits about Namor. So somebody did, though. Yeah, somebody thought that he would be a great Namor. I think it was either you or Stu. It might have even been Pat, to be honest with you. I don't remember.
Yeah. He played a villain in a movie called Man of Tai Chi, which was pretty cool. It started a guy named Tiger something, and he was like a martial artist that joined some kind of underground fight ring, and Keanu Reeves was like kind of the mastermind behind it all, and he kind of like played like this really mean looking like evil dude. So I think he definitely could play a villain, and maybe that would be something that kind of stretches his acting ability a little bit more, because it's John Wick, he's killing it with John Wick, so maybe he wants to play a bad guy. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't want to be too hard on the fact that, listen, the guy's 50, 51 years old, maybe 51, I think. I'm not an ageist, but I'm also a realist. So by the time this movie, if he was to accept the role, they start filming, he's going to be in his 54 or so for this movie to come out. If this is going to be done the next 3 to 4 years, maybe wait another 2 years if he's going to do Kraven's Last Hunt, let's say, if they were to do a cinematic version of that story. So now he's hitting 57. Like, all I'm saying is that if you want him in a role, in whether it's in the MCU proper, or a DC movie, or this Sonyverse, or whatever it is, you have to get the ball rolling, because time is obviously against all of us, right, John? So
I don't know, except for Keanu Reeves, he looks amazing right now. So
he's just like Paul Rudd. They don't age, that you can see, but physically, what will it be like to be facing it as a 60-year-old guy facing off against Tom Holland? I mean, I guess we could all ask Michael Keaton.
You're right. That dynamic, him against such a young Spider-Man, would be potentially problematic.
Well, because we all in Kraven's Last Hunt, he does don the Spider-Man costume and pretends to be Spider-Man for a bit, right? So is that something? Can Keanu Reeves actually pull that off? I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is, but it's a rumor for now. It's at least it's causing people to talk online today about Keanu Reeves again, and any day that people talking about Keanu Reeves is a good day.
Yeah.
And that's it for John for the news, man.
All right. Good stuff, Rob. That was a lot to digest. And definitely, if you haven't seen some of those trailers, then definitely watch the trailers, especially that Falcon Winter Soldier. And then let's talk a little bit about our podcast that was released on Sunday. So we talked WandaVision. Right? Yeah, WandaVision yesterday. Yeah, it's crazy. Feels like a week ago. So WandaVision episode 5 on a very special episode of, I believe it was titled Big Bomb. I don't know if we want to talk about the spoiler at the end.
I think we should hold off on that because I'm not really sure if people have seen it yet, or I'm always like kind of antsy. Like I know it came out on Friday. I know today is only Monday and we're looking at 72 hours later. I still don't want to like have to spoil that ending. People haven't seen it.
Yeah, we pretty much definitely all of us did recommend the episode. Tune into that podcast if you want to hear each of our individual opinions about it. And you may or may not be surprised at Andre's thoughts on this one. And then we have some fun after our WandaVision episode review recap. We have some kind of fun mixed bag questions that Stu throws at us. So definitely check that out.
So I know because you probably can't remember, right, John? Yeah. So we had name a comic book series that you would want to be rebooted, and what was the pitch? Tradesies, Marvel and DC. If we were to take one character and throw them into the other universe, which one would it be? We give our kind of our weird pitch. I mean, we talked about this last news, but Coogler starting a Wanda TV series for Disney Plus. What would our pitch be? And then we also did artist spotlight and Ken Lashley, who is a big fan and a friend of the store. And so we talked about our favorite either covers or his art or books or runs that he's done throughout his career so far. So definitely, if you haven't had an opportunity to listen to the podcast, it's anywhere that you're listening to this. If you're watching on YouTube, it was posted up yesterday. If you're listening through the ears, it's on your iTunes, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. So definitely give that a check. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks. Someone already calling me out on cheating, as usual, Fraser. I like to bend the rules and have some fun if they'll allow me to play around with it. So,
what were you cheating on?
One of the questions. Actually, I feel like a couple of the questions I probably kind of.
Oh, that's okay. We're talking about the podcast. Yeah, you were typical John.
Yeah. Hey now.
Hey now.
We are just trying to entertain y'all. So let's go. Do we have anything else we want to cover?
No, I think that's it. If we're talking about fun, John.
Yeah,
we're rolling in to the best of the '80s action movie bracket.
All right, so let's talk. Let's jump in the. Is there? I don't know if there's anything we didn't cover in the comments. Quickly, if we want to scroll back here. Again, thank you everyone. Welcome to the Sidekick Show. If you're tuning in late, we really appreciate you all in the chat. It's a lot of fun to have you guys interacting here. So let's see. Some people talking about Sarah making fun of my hair. Yeah, it's gotten. I was telling Rob that I haven't cut this part in the middle since the original lockdown, so it's coming up on a year. So I feel like it should be longer. Trying to grow out that Thor or John Wick look, I guess, or the Crow. we covered the Crow. We could do like a.
There you go. You're getting ready for Halloween 2020. Yeah.
Let's see. I get a gold star for doing Rorschach.
Nope, did it again.
Rorschach. All right, so nope.
It's still should be like gold stars removed.
Counter. It's gone. And just like that, it's gone. Man bun. Maybe I'll try it.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, okay. I will definitely go for an '80s action villain. Thank you, Michelle. I'll add like a scar on one eye. That's typical '80s villain. But let me see. Did you get this one, Rob? Did you get this $350 for a vibrating Robin?
I did, John.
That is a funny Robin.
800 things went through my brain. So we're just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, listen, you've got statues and figures at home. I mean, and you have daughters. I don't know how I would feel with my daughter if I'm displaying that Robin with that really like bizarre cod piece. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it looks different in person, but those photos are mental.
Yeah. Shout out to these cod pieces. Yeah, it's pretty. I think that would be pretty hard to explain. Especially so the harder part to explain would be if you get the Robin with no Batman, and then you have to explain to your buddy this lineup of like you might have Arnold Schwarzenegger, you might have like Neo from the Matrix, you might have every single Iron Man suit, and then you have this Robin. Actually, it might be funny actually to do this. This Robin in the bottom or the top or the middle corner, and he's just got that crazy junk out.
Well, I think Sarah was right. Maybe this should be a gift for Tim, and he could display it when he goes back to the office, and that would be the only thing he's allowed on his desk.
I think you know what, it's all fair game. If there's some people that like this, then that's awesome. Like I said, if I popped up a female figure, then you would probably if one was exaggerated. I can't remember what the Scarlet Witch one looked like, but I think she was in some type of bustier or something like that. So you know, it is what it is. So all right. So I guess we'll
we're getting all hot and bothered here.
Silver Star. Yeah.
So more like tin. Michelle's more like a tin star.
Jonathan, you're making fun of me. I should shave. Yeah, I definitely. This is gone. This is gone after tonight. I thought I would keep it for a little bit of a joke, and cut and try to pull a Mirrorverse Stu. But yeah, it's gone after this episode. So let's talk.
I couldn't even grow that. So that's fine.
Yeah, I find that very shocking. But so let's jump back to the bracket here. So we are at the finale of this bracket, and I feel like I know what's going to happen. I feel like Rob wants something else to happen, and much to his chagrin, it's not going to happen.
Sure as shit it will, and I'll tell you what.
I don't think so, but let's
go
will. Back. So we went through a bunch of rounds. Thank you for coming along with us on this journey. And as we start to get into, we'll try and dive into the sci-fi listing of movies towards the end of this. You'll see why we kind of had to move quickly through it. Otherwise, this will just take up. It'll take forever. But you can see. Let's take a look at Lethal Weapon 2's journey. So we're at the final here. It is Die Hard versus Lethal Weapon 2. So Lethal Weapon 2 first round went up against Tango and Cash. Which did Tango and Cash come out after Lethal Weapon or before? You know what? I guess it's irrelevant. Basically, Lethal Weapon 1 was established, and yes. Tango and Cash has taken the buddy genre and kind of went with it, right? And then it defeated that. Lethal Weapon 2 went up against Above the Law, easily defeated Steven Seagal, and then it went up against Beverly Hills Cop, which was a toss-up. I feel like Beverly Hills Cop might be a better overall entertaining movie. But Lethal Weapon 2 does represent this action genre so well. And then let's take a quick peek at Die Hard's journey. So Die Hard was, I think it pretty much won all these matches pretty easily. Well, actually, Lethal Weapon 1 gave it a kind of a run. So Missing in Action, the Chuck Norris vehicle, perhaps just a little too dated to go up against Die Hard this early. And then it went up against Lethal Weapon 1 and lost to that. I think that was kind of close, though. And then Commando... it's lackluster villain, definitely cost that the match, and now it is here in the final. And I will shout out, I was watching a little bit of Roadhouse the other day, and I feel it's a shame that Roadhouse didn't go up against somebody else and make it a little. I think if Roadhouse was over here in this Bloodsport category instead of Bloodsport, it would have been kind of fun to have it that far, just because Patrick Swayze is just so good in that movie.
Oh yeah,
So,
and this is what actually kind of excites me when we do talk about going and doing this for the 90s down the road. What excites me is like those movies like Point Break, because like Point Break, we were talking about Canada just a moment ago, in conjunction with Patrick Swayze. I mean, like that is a perfect recipe for a great action movie. So I would love to see how far into the 90s action movie bracket, if people want to do it. I hope they do. How far we get into it, because I think Point Break is a great action movie.
Point Break can potentially, but Speed is also like what beats. Sorry, my daughter's like tossing toys now.
The Robin, she's got that Robin saying, "This is not
she's
right."
Like, give me one of those Robins, and now she's gonna proceed to take down my green screen. So you might see her pop up. Yeah, like I don't know what wins that fight, Point Break or Speed. I want to say it's gonna be Speed. But I don't know. Point Break with Patrick Swayze.
Scott, before you go, Scott, you got to type in Die Hard or Lethal Weapon 2. And Scott.
I know where Scott's going, and I know where everybody else is going, Rob. So, like, I give you props for the fight. I give you props for the fight.
I did some research, John. Do you want to get into this?
Yeah, unless we want to start.
Well, we can.
Unless other people want to get in before you proceed.
We can talk about. We can talk about the third and fourth, the bronze medal match, if you want.
So bronze medal. Commando ended up getting the bronze, so third place. Although I feel it probably should go to Beverly Hills Cop, but I want Commando to get something because I feel like it's always overlooked in these types of lists, and I think it is very definitive. 80s, even though it's one of the smaller movies out of all this bunch. I feel like if we took all the box office and budgets and time to film, I feel like Commando was probably filmed on a very short period of time too as well. But yeah, I guess go for it, Rob. Like I feel like
have we made the decision that Commando is taking the third?
I think so. I think I took it last week, but if anyone wants to change their mind, I still do think Beverly Hills Cop, definitely is the better overall movie, but Commando, in this type of bracket, it's its only chance to get this far, because any other ranking, like even in a ranking of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, I don't know how far it would get in just pure Arnold movies, even though it is one of my favorites.
No, I agree with you. If we were to rank his movies, I don't think this would make it out. I think like this, Raw Deal, even Red Heat, I don't think would make it very far, right? But here's, I guess, the one thing I would say, though, and I agree with you. I think Commando does take the bronze in this, and I know that you've said a few times that you think that Beverly Hills Cop is the better movie. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's a hell of a fun movie, but I think that it borders on action and comedy quite well. It does what it sets out to do without pretending to be something that it's not. And that's great. But do I think it's a better action movie? No. And that's what this bracket is about. So I would think Commando takes it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to take it for Commando. So unless someone's really against that, let's rock and roll. That's
much like place. How you went through your university years, John. Commando, it is.
I never understood that with people. Going Commando stuff. Yeah. Gordon brings up a good point. Bloodsport definitely was probably the lowest of all these budgets because it literally was shot on a single set.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna get into the big one, and I know that John, you keep saying that this is a done deal. I don't think it is. I'm gonna reiterate.
I think you can put up a fight, Rob, and I respect you for it. I think you're great, but upon rewatch of Die Hard, it's pretty solid. It's pretty tough to beat.
Okay, so I think, listen, I made this point over the last number of weeks, including last week. Get out of here, Michelle.
Michelle says Die Hard wins easily.
That Die Hard is a great action movie. We've discussed it. It's gone this far. It's gone to the finals because of what it is. I think, though, the problem is that it benefits from an annual watch. People will watch this every Christmas, and that changes people's opinion. People don't watch Lethal Weapon 2 nearly as often because it doesn't require. There's no annual requirement to keep watching Lethal Weapon 2, right? You watch it because you enjoy it. You watch it because you're like, hey, I want a good action movie to throw on. I'm going to go back into the Wayback Machine and pick something that's really awesome and throw it on. If it was a normal July day and you felt, and it was raining outside and you're in the house and you felt like watching an action movie on a Saturday afternoon, you were more inclined to likely grab Lethal Weapon 2 and throw it on than you are for Die Hard, because in the back of your head, you know that in 5 short months from July, you'd be watching Die Hard anyways. And you want to watch something that you haven't seen in a while. And this is where I think we've talked about when we discussed the worst comic book movies, is that nostalgia factor. That drug is very powerful and alters our perception of things, right? I mean, you were a huge fan of Batman and Robin until you rewatched it. So I love Die Hard. I enjoy it. If I had to pick a movie to watch in the middle of the summer or the spring or fall, it wouldn't be Die Hard because I know I'm going to watch it again in a few short months. But I crunched some numbers, John. I went to the old interwebs, and Die Hard. How many deaths do you think is in Die Hard the movie?
10.
Oh, okay. Well, John McClane, actually is responsible for 10 deaths, but there were 23 overall. All right. Now, in Lethal Weapon 2, do you know how many deaths are in Lethal Weapon 2?
There's a lot. Mel Gibson kind of goes crazy around the midpoint.
Right.
I
So
want to say 30.
There's 34 overall, but for like Riggs/Murtaugh, they comprise of 20 deaths themselves. So they've doubled the count of the body count. 23 overall for Die Hard, 34 overall for Lethal Weapon 2. Just I'm not looking at Michelle's comments. Just on that basis alone, in the fact that we're talking action movies consists of deaths as well. And there are obviously, the facts don't lie. There are way more.
Commando should have won based on pure deaths alone.
But Commando's not in this topic of conversation, John.
Okay, so it didn't get to the point where we start measuring stats, deaths, and kill counts.
I said I'm a big fan of Die Hard. I just think we have to acknowledge the fact that it gets a bias because of our annual viewing, and that it's way more in our pop cultural lexicon and makeup, like of our DNA, because of the type of movie that it is. I don't think Lethal Weapon gets enough attention for what a good movie it is, but Lethal Weapon 2 improves upon the first one. I personally love the first one more than number 2, but number 2 as an overall action movie is way better than Die Hard.
I think you're too biased in your love for this series, because Die Hard is solid front to back. Characters, villains, John McClane, just surviving through. I always forget his name. The other cop, Al. Also Carl Winslow. I forgot what his real name is. But his relationship with John McClane, and even Argyle, I think the limo driver. Yeah, he's great. Like there's a lot of good scenes in Die Hard, which I think would trump Lethal Weapon in memorable scenes. And perhaps Yippee-Ki-Yay, I think, does top diplomatic immunity. It's being revoked as kind of like a final FU to the villain. But let's talk a little bit about the legacy that these movies have left. So let's say, okay, so Lethal Weapon, the buddy cop genre, a lot of movies followed it. Bad Boys, Rush Hour. I'm trying to think of what else you could name. And the same thing happened for Die Hard. A lot of movies became Die Hard on a blah blah.
Like, right? Under Siege.
Yeah, Under Siege, Sudden Death, Speed. Like, I think I can name probably more Die Hard on a whatever than buddy kind of cop movies, because they might have, the majority of them might have actually stayed in the 80s, 90s. So I don't know if we can take that into consideration. If you see a movie that's like Lethal Weapon, do you call it Lethal Weapon, like a redux,
like a knockoff is what you're saying?
Yeah. Do you compare it? Do you go back and throw back to Lethal Weapon the way that you would if a movie basically copies Die Hard, like Olympus Falling or whatever that Gerard Butler series is? Yeah, and I think Channing Tatum even got one as well. White House Down. Yep. Yeah. So there's any number of them that you're always going to reference Die Hard when you talk about those. But do you necessarily reference Lethal Weapon when you see one of these new action buddy type movies?
But this is the thing, though, is that I think you make a very good point, but you also make a point of how actually integral Lethal Weapon is to the buddy cop genre. Because before that, you had 48 Hours with Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy. I think you can draw a direct comparison to the first Lethal Weapon movie to what Tony Scott did with Beverly Hills Cop 2 that came out just a year after. And actually, I think the same year as Lethal Weapon 2. So he was obviously trying to pick the DNA off of that movie to infuse into the Beverly Hills Cop idea. If you look at the Die Hard, I agree. Die Hard is, and this is where I said, is a pop cultural lexicon. You last week showcased the puzzle. You've got T-shirts, you have puzzles, you have ornaments, you have pop figures, you have all of these things. But but does that stuff equate to a better movie, or is it just that it was the right movie at the right time and it filled a void that we needed for an action Christmas movie? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, does that make it a better movie? I don't necessarily think so. I mean, there's probably a lot more, and Andre would be the specialist on this, probably a lot more paraphernalia, using the whole umbrella term, for the original Star Wars, like the 77's New Hope, than there is for Empire. And yet Empire is a far more superior movie to A New Hope. So just because you have a whole bunch of these things, does it actually make it a better movie, or is it just that it struck at the right place at the right time? It's more infused. I still maintain that this is not me slagging Die Hard whatsoever. I will slag Die Hard 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 because they're not great movies. Die Hard 3 is probably the best of all those sequels. They're all
which is very similar to the Lethal Weapon formula.
Exactly, which is what they copied exactly with Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon 2, 3, and 4, while derivative, obviously, of the very first movie, all infused a bit of new nuances as it continued on. So I understand we're not looking at Lethal Weapon as a series or Die Hard as a series. We're talking about Die Hard and Lethal Weapon 2. But I think that the special that you had with John McClane in a building fighting the terrorists was great, but you didn't have as much comedy in there. There's some kind of joking moments, that we always kind of reference, but Lethal Weapon 2 had way more comedy in it. It had way more action. It was much more. It was more explosions. There was more action. There was more bullets flying, and by our count, way more deaths.
Well, that's a valiant effort, Rob. But I don't think it's gonna matter.
I just want to clarify while you're that Jonathan asked a question. Said, did I just say Lethal Weapon over Lethal Weapon 2? So if Lethal Weapon is better than Lethal Weapon 2 and Die Hard was better than Lethal Weapon, therefore Die Hard has to be better than Lethal Weapon 2. No, I actually argued this with John for numerous. I actually believe that Lethal Weapon, the first one, is a far better movie than Die Hard as well. But obviously I was outnumbered, but I still think Lethal Weapon 2 is far superior to Die Hard.
I think you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because
it has chase scenes, it has actions, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about
so Die Hard is missing a couple elements because it is locked within that one setting. So it doesn't have your car chase, it doesn't even have a foot chase really. So yeah, it is missing some elements, but
first of all, look at this. Okay. McClane's wife is more proactive instead of just being eye candy. You're talking about Darlene Love, all right, who is a phenomenal singer in her own right and has that amazing Christmas song. So let's not compare Bonnie Bedelia, I think it was, to Darlene Love. We're not doing that. Michelle's just out she hates Lethal Weapon so much. She'll do whatever she can. I've made my pitch, John. I don't know, man. I truly believe that if you look at it as an action movie, Die Hard's fun. It has guns. It has that one rooftop explosion, but there's no car. There's more explosions in Lethal Weapon 2. There's more guns. There's way more explosions in Lethal Weapon 2. I mean, we can rhyme off 5 different scenes right now off the top of my head where there was more explosions, including the cop who flew off the exploding diving board to get into her pool. If an action movie is based on all of those hits, no pun intended, Lethal Weapon 2 obviously wins by far because it's hitting every category.
Via sheer numbers and stats on the board, maybe you're right. But the scenes in Die Hard are so much. The first scene, he gets the machine gun from the guy, throws him in the elevator, writes a cocky note on him. Another guy, he's like on top of the table and says, next time you get a chance to kill someone, do it. And then John McClane just blasts that guy through the table and then throws him out the window to get the other cop's attention. Who else did he fight? Like the other character he fought that you thought was dead and then comes back in the end. Hans Gruber, Hans Gruber. I think that we talked a lot about the villain, so I won't try to drag it out again. But Hans Gruber and his band of misfit criminals are just such good villains. it's not to say that the diplomatic immunity guy in Lethal Weapon 2 was a chump, but he's just so good. Alan Rick, I think he passed away, right?
Alan Rickman is he's Hans Gruber. That's who you're referring to.
Yeah, it was his first role, I think, ever. And he brought that to the table. Like, that was cool. Like, and we mentioned it before, the scene where he pretends to be the hostage and takes the gun, and then Bruce Willis is like, "Oh, no bullets," or whatever, and then just everything. Like, I think, I don't know. I don't think it's quite where you want it to land, Rob. I think Lethal Weapon 1 probably, you're right, had a better chance at winning that fight. But since it lost, this revenge fight, Lethal Weapon 2 coming back to avenge its younger brother's defeat, I don't think it's gonna happen. But get at us in the comments, folks. So what do you guys think? Is everyone
let me just say this:
Die Hard?
If Lethal Weapon 2, hang on, but if Lethal Weapon 2 doesn't advance in this one, when it comes to the 90s, I've got Lethal Weapon 3 and 4 to pull from. Or I guess Lethal Weapon 4 was in the 2000s.
Yeah. Lethal Weapon 3 does, I think that's the one that I haven't seen actually. Does Murtaugh have to deal with the repercussions of blowing away this diplomatic immunity guy?
No.
Because I looked it up online, actually. The only way to revoke someone's diplomatic immunity is for that consulate to revoke it. A cop that put his badge in his desk earlier in the movie does not have the authority to revoke someone's diplomatic immunity. So I'm wondering what the consequences are for Murtaugh going into 3, or do they just gloss over it?
They killed somebody with a nail gun. He got nailed. He actually
did that guy have diplomatic immunity?
He actually took the Arnold Schwarzenegger. Or wait, was that number 3? Was that number 3 where he got with the nail gun with the addition on?
No, that's 2. That's 2.
Yeah, number 2. Yeah, and he goes, yeah, he got nailed. Just like he pulled an Arnold. Anyways.
All right, well, let it sit for a second. Please let us know, folks, if you think Die Hard or Lethal Weapon 2 is going to win this. I feel like I know where it's going. I'm sorry, Rob, but neither of our movies made it to the winning this spot. Even if one of my guys was in here, I don't know if I could let it beat Die Hard, because Die Hard is just so good. Oh, hey, look. I think that's Andre. Unless this guy. This guy jumps in with his YouTube comment. Little guy, flip a coin. Lewis, help us choose here. Well, look at this. Oh, so look at this. You got Fraser here. Not Rob. Rob's trying to pull a Tim here, like having the deck with all his extra peoples. But I'm pretty sure I know Scott's vote would have been for Die Hard. I know he would not have been swayed to the side of Lethal Weapon. But let's talk a little bit. Let's switch gears for a second.
Men started, John. This is the crux of 12 Angry Men. It took one person to change the mind of 11 other jurors. Come on, Fraser. I got Fraser. We can turn this. Michelle's not lost cause, but Sarah, come on.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Die Hard wins this. I think you know the truth deep inside your heart.
No, I actually don't. If this goes, I will begrudgingly accept it, but I actually will go to my I will go to my grave with my Lethal Weapon poster hanging high. Yeah,
right, I think it's Die Hard. We're gonna step away for a second just so Rob can let it sink in before we hit that. And let's talk a little bit about the sister bracket. They will be going up against the winner of this. So I don't know if there's anything. Okay, let's talk sci-fi fantasy movies of the 1980s. Wait, did you call it
sci-fi?
Sci-fi.
You're all over the place.
Maybe I drank a little too much here.
All right, pull up that list that you have.
Okay, so I have a preliminary list, and it looks like this. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Click, 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 click. All right, so you guys on the audio, have fun with that. But here is our list. So we want to keep this as a tight 8, folks. So we don't want to get this going for too long.
Yeah.
Look, we got Michelle said she's going to storm Heroes World if Lethal Weapon 2 wins this.
Good, then you can buy something while you're there.
All right, so on this list so far, we have RoboCop, The Terminator, Predator, Aliens, because Alien is 79 or 78, I believe. Arnold Schwarzenegger's The Running Man, based off the Stephen King book. Conan the Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
They Live, starring, is it Rowdy Piper?
Yep.
Rowdy Piper.
Yep.
And Escape from New York, which is the Kurt Russell post-apocalyptic Snake Plissken movie.
Oh, look at you with the big words.
Look at that.
You completely redeemed yourself.
No, don't worry. I'll smash it back down in a second. Okay. And then we had some guys on the sidelines. Mad Max. I don't know if we want some Mad Max representation in this bracket. Big Trouble in Little China, one of my favorites, but I'm semi-concerned with the Asian stereotypes in the movie. I haven't watched it in a while. And Blade Runner, I don't know what cut you would put in Blade Runner.
There's 9 different ones.
Yeah. Typically people hate the theatrical cut, but the theatrical cut has the Harrison Ford narration in it. It makes it a little bit more digestible to casual viewers, I guess you would call it. And then Rob wanted me to put on Alien Nation, which I'm not familiar with at all.
You know what we actually thought we didn't throw in there was Highlander, but
okay, yeah.
Because I just saw it on my list. Yeah, so does anybody remember Alien Nation? And I'm talking about the movie, not the TV show. The movie came out in
I had told Rob that I vaguely remember a TV show.
Yeah, and there was a TV show. Mandy Patinkin and James Caan. And essentially, it's Los Angeles circa 1991. So obviously, this shit didn't happen. But humans live alongside extraterrestrial humanoid beings whose ship crashes 3 years earlier. And essentially, it's a lot of like this xenophobia where you have these aliens who are they have nowhere to go, so the Earth adopts them, and they want to be able to integrate into society. But obviously, as humans do, we ostracize and try to push them away. Meanwhile, you've got this one alien played by Mandy Patinkin, who is a cop and is trying to, he's facing the discrimination of being an alien on the police force while just trying to do the job. It's first of all, I quite enjoy the movie. It's been many years since I've seen it. The director was Graham Baker. Nobody important. But I thought it was at least worth a mention on here. If we were going to keep this only to 8 movies, I don't think it's going to crack that top 8. Although an argument could be made that it could usurp They Live, but I'm a big fan of They Live as well. So, so if we're keeping it to 8, I mean, the Highlander as well is a difficult one because I actually quite enjoy Highlander a lot. But I'm a huge Conan fan. So I don't know. I'm very conflicted.
Okay, so first of all, a lot of people in the comments don't remember this Alien Nation that you're talking about. Michelle does actually say it was a good film, and she enjoyed both. A lot of people remember the TV series. So I think for that alone, I think it's just. Did you check the year on it? Was it early?
Yeah,
80s?
It's 1980. No, 1988. 88 October 7th, 1988.
Oh, weird. Maybe just these other movies just eclipse it. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, could have. Anyway, if anybody gets an opportunity and you see it, you should actually watch it. It is definitely worth a watch for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So Rob has mentioned Highlander. Shout outs to Highlander. I actually watched this in school. A teacher put on Highlander. I don't know why. I don't know if it was like a historical thing. Yeah. I'm like, these guys were getting decapitated, right?
Yeah.
But God bless whoever that teacher was. Because that was great. And then a couple of guys mentioned Dune. I don't think I've ever seen Dune. So if you guys feel that it should be on here, let's leave it on the list right now.
I think part of the problem though is that and we talked about this a bit off air when I mentioned Krull. Krull and Dune are somewhat, they're very, very steeped in like this specialized sci-fi that I just don't know how it actually holds up as an action movie. I think they are great movies, but I don't think they qualify as action movies.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look up Dune in a second. Let's jump in the comments because some people are going nuts here. Sarah's mentioning Bill and Ted, Back to the Future, Princess Bride, Labyrinth, Masters of the Universe, and I discussed this with Sarah, and I said these are not action, so it does have to be action. Although Masters of the Universe has a special place in my heart, I do own that on DVD. It's more of a guilty pleasure than a solid 80s
shit.
movie.
It's a horrible movie.
It's upon rewatch and
it's atrocious.
Reading up about what happened to the actual original plot line for that movie, it's pretty bad, but it's fun to watch.
Now, just as an aside, though, John, if anybody's if you want to go after this show, go to Kevin Smith's YouTube page. He put up a 3-minute video. In that is a 30-second teaser of the new Master of the Universe theme song that is being done by the same guy who did the Walking Dead opening credits. So you've actually got because that's coming out. The new Masters of the Universe series is coming out on Netflix this year. So if Sarah, if you're interested in Motu information, you can check out Kevin Smith's YouTube page, and he's got it on there. It's about a 3-minute video clip.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to see if Dune is classified as a sci-fi action. I don't think it is.
Yeah. Okay. So while John's looking at Gordon, you put on Tron.
Action, adventure, drama, sci-fi.
Wait, but that's 2021, John. You're looking at the new Dune.
What the hell?
So Gordon, Tron is, again, it's when you rewatch it, Tron is not a really fun movie. It's great for its time, but it's obviously very limited. But it's not. How do you put Tron up against RoboCop or Predator or even Conan? I just don't think it's not gonna. If we're doing a 20 film bracket, sure, maybe it'll be something, but I don't think we can't put it in there. Also, it's by Disney, and obviously at that point you're limiting how much of an action movie is it going to go up against, like, say, RoboCop.
Yeah. All right. So Dune does have a classification as under action, but a couple people in the comments are already jumping in saying they wouldn't really consider it action. Especially remember, folks, to look at the competition that's already on here. We want to at least put something that stands a chance. I'm more than happy with any of these lower ones moving. Running Man always comes up in the conversation. It's not as good as people remember, but I'm willing to leave it on here just because I don't mind rewatching The Running Man, as I do with all my Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Let me see.
Like, I actually like. Well, see, I'm a big fan of Conan, more sword and like sword sandal sci-fi in terms of that type of a genre as opposed to action. But aside from that one witch and the guy turning into a snake, there's not really it's mostly sword and I mean, it's the same as if you were to have Gladiator in a 2000s bracket, right? I'm okay. Yeah, I mean,
so I don't think as much as I do like Conan as well, I don't know if it has a place in here, especially if it's going to go up against these guys. At least these top four are pretty solid.
But then if that's the case, why don't we just do these top four then?
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, folks? Should we jump straight to a top four and do this quickly? I'm trying to think if anything else beats these top four guys right now or would have a chance, because that would give us a solid 4 movies to watch. It wouldn't be too much investment. These are all solid. I would definitely recommend all of these.
Yeah.
We do have double Arnold Schwarzenegger representation in here though. Maybe rightly so, because it is 80s.
Yep.
I would like to watch They Live again, which is pretty funny. But did someone say that there was supposed to be a remake with They Live with Ronda Rousey, or was that Roadhouse?
That was Roadhouse.
I think that was Roadhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think you're right. I think that those four are going to, as much as They Live is great, and we can definitely watch They Live. Does They Live beat out any of those four?
I don't think so. Some of the guys are mentioning Raiders.
Yeah, we took
I think
off.
it's
We took
well,
off
some of the guys. I
Indiana
mean,
Jones.
only Lewis.
We took out the Indiana Jones movies because again they're fun, but they're not. How do you? I don't know how. I really truly believe that those top four that you have there, Scott. I'm not
Scott,
even talking to
we
you
need
right
your
now.
vote. We need your vote. Die Hard or Lethal Weapon. I assumed what your vote was, but Rob wants to hold on to some hope.
I just don't. I think those four are going to be are going to be really tough to beat with the other ones that we have there, John.
Yeah, so maybe we even Highlander. You wouldn't think Highlander could possibly do it.
I think
the cutoff point is definitely here.
Yes, I think Highlander and They Live would be a great matchup. So if you wanted to keep those, like put those two together, Highlander, and get Running Man out of there and put like They Live against those, like then I think if you wanted 6, then there you go. I just think that whichever one between Highlander and They Live moves on is going to lose against whatever else is up the top.
Someone's going to get a bye though. The problem is if we put in They Live and Escape. I mean, They Live and Highlander and make it a 6-man, then someone's going to get a bye. So we might as well pick out 2 more movies that might stand a chance.
All right.
Sorry, my daughter's wandering around. So, did we get a vote from Scott?
Yeah, and I'm refusing to look at it. So
you're. I'm pretty sure he picks. Yeah, he picks Die Hard. Guess what?
So we ended up with we have 6.
Are we herself?
That's awesome. It's her own little Cerebro. That's awesome.
Okay, go play. Go find your sister.
If we're doing, we need 2 more. Or are you?
I think we should add 2 more. Just if you want to put, if you think Highlander stands a chance,
well,
we should. Scott shout out Spaceballs. Is Spaceballs an '80s movie? That is definitely a comedy movie, though. I don't know,
but it is a comedy
movie. The Schwartz.
Put up that bracket again.
Yeah. All right. You mean the list? Yeah, sure.
Sorry. Yeah, the list.
Yes, totally, Sarah. I actually use their hair clips all the time, but as soon as she sees me with them, she pulls them out. It's pretty funny.
I don't.
Jonathan, you're really into these movies that were like a big deal at the time. Dune and The Thing, that I didn't really get into. Is The Thing considered action? I feel like it's more horror.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you've got. So we have.
Let's eliminate some suspects first. So, Escape from New York. I don't.
Yeah.
Did it spawn? Did it have a sequel? I think
it did. Escape from LA. And it was atrocious. And that was like it was like 15 years later. It was weird.
Yeah. Escape from New York, I wasn't really a fan of back in the day, unless anyone has got a compelling argument why it should stay. So everything down here is off the list. I would like Big Trouble in Little China, but I think that's very niche. I think that's like just one of my. I think that's more of a guilty pleasure, probably. Blade Runner. How about Blade Runner?
Wait, we can put Blade Runner and Running Man, I guess, back in.
And Running Man, the runners?
Yeah, that's right. Blade Runner, Running Man. Sure.
I feel like this is interesting, but I still feel like this top 4 is still the top 4.
No, I agree with you. And I think, I totally agree. I think where the problem happens is if the randomizer on the bracket puts those 4 against each other, we're screwed.
That's a good point. All right. Keep it at 6. Yeah. So the problem with 6 Frasier is it creates buys, which I guess wouldn't be that bad, but I feel like we want these top 4 to be the top 4. So let's jump back and make this official. that we are sending this. I know Rob's shaking his head, but I think I think there was no denying this. I knew this was going to happen. The only way this movie was going to be eliminated was if we decide to purposefully eliminate it so it wouldn't win. But I think Die Hard is the winner of our 80s pure action. So that would put the final results: Die Hard #1 going 4-0, Lethal Weapon second place silver going 3-1, and Commando bronze also going 3-1, but it did not make it to the final. So Beverly Hills Cop ends up getting 4th. Lethal Weapon, here you go, Rob. You guys are all in the top 5 standing.
Oh, whatever.
But there's so many ties for this place.
Yeah.
I like to look at who's at the bottom, but even though these are all technically 9th because they were all eliminated first round, they're all technically the bottom.
But you know what? It's so funny because
definitely not Roadhouse. Roadhouse is definitely not the worst.
Oh no, I would put Roadhouse above like Tango and Cash, and I would put Roadhouse.
I think Roadhouse is the top. I think the top of this first round elimination. I think Roadhouse.
Oh, I completely agree. Roadhouse would beat out everything that's on that list below there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that ends, I guess, our 1980s action movie as it pertains to the standard action of cops and army guys and whatnot. Now we're, as John said, our sister bracket is the 80s sci-fi action. It's obviously not as big of a list as what we just experienced, because we'll face off Die Hard. Who will Die Hard take on? Be the ultimate 80s action winning movie. And whichever one it is, I'm not voting for Die Hard. So I will make a very compelling argument to whatever
which one of these can beat Die Hard. Okay, so let's
I'll tell you which one. RoboCop, Predator, and Aliens. Those 3 could totally beat Die Hard. Not the original Terminator. It won't be able to beat it.
I think okay, maybe you're right. Yeah. All right, so are we going to go with 8?
Yeah, might as well. We have to, right? We can't do 6, so let's just go with these 8.
All right, let's go with these 8, folks.
John,
money's on these top. Money's on these top 4, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe
we'll see how that bracket. Because you throw it into that computer and it spits out that bracket, and so that gets to be. We don't fiddle around with that stuff, so it'll be difficult to see what happens.
We can see we can definitely seed the top
contenders.
John,
you don't tell people how the sausage is made, man.
They can clearly see it. Anyone who does sports knows how this works.
Which you don't. So come on.
So people are calling this already. People are calling RoboCop, Aliens. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people are thinking that our top 5, but I guess we'll.
Not even close.
Rob, Booby.
Hey, listen. I'm at the end of the day. This is all for fun. I'm good with it. No, I'm not a sore loser, Scott. Shut up.
Don't talk to me about it.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Whatever, Scott. Right now, we're not friends. No, it's fine. Listen, Die Hard's a great movie. I'm not taking anything away from it. I just thought, to me personally, one was better, but that's okay. This is what this is all about. It's about the fun and the fact that we get to rewatch this stuff, and we get to do this and have these conversations and make very compelling arguments, even though they went nowhere except for one person. Fraser, you're my man. With all of you who are tuning in and commenting and watching, and that's why John and I do this every week. As crazy as our weeks are, I really look forward to this, John, on Monday nights, being able to log in and do this live with you and shoot the shit with, and we talk about stuff in the store and we talk about news and we talk about these brackets, these movies, and that's why. Unless barring people just are tired of it, we'll likely continue this into like the 90s, because that is going to be one hell of a crazy time, because we're going to have to break that up into either 3-year cycles or 2, like into 90 to 95. So
we're going to have to go year by year and talk it out and see which contenders come, and maybe we'll have to choose one from each year or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Stacked. Or we'll have to really narrow the genre to something specific.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of fun. So it's all good. Michelle, you're still one of my favorite people who I've never met. And it's a hell of a lot of fun doing this with you guys. So I'm very glad that Die Hard won. And it's been a lot of fun. I am looking forward to watching these other movies. All of these I own that we talked about, or at least they're if you don't have them, they are available to stream, except for They Live. That's the one I'm just not too sure about, but we'll figure that out. And please join us next Monday. We'll have that bracket finalized, and I'll have already started watching a couple. I just finished Predator, I don't know, over the holidays, I think. So I'll give it another go, and we can go from there.
Predator is funny because it's kind of in the middle of these two brackets. It could have easily like snuck into the other side, potentially if we let.
No, agreed. If there was one movie that does, and I think we may have talked about this when we first created the bracket originally, John, is if there was one movie that borders both genres, it was totally Predator.
Yeah. So a couple of people in the comments mentioned some good matchups. We could kind of semi-rig this. They Live versus Aliens. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We'll see how this goes next week, and we'll have some fun with it.
Sarah, you don't have to watch all 8 over the next 7 days. Don't worry. You will. We'll see how the matchup ends out next week. You can watch 2 a week. You don't have to watch them all in one go.
Yeah, Jordan showing here Critters. I don't remember Critters.
Yeah, I do. No.
What is that? The Kevin Bacon one?
No, that's Tremors.
Oh, all right.
All right, I think we got to call this one a night, John.
I think so. Yes. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Yeah, me too. I should have filled it up. I don't know if anyone is a mixologist, but if you pour the alcohol on top of the drink, does it just sit on the top? Do I need to mix it, or should I pour it in the bottom first?
Just stir it up. What's wrong with you?
But then I have to dirty up another utensil. You know what I mean?
Just use your finger. Go. Like that.
No, I'm not a savage here. Come on. You're getting ridiculous. Anyways, I'll look that up and figure
it out. Thanks so much, everybody. We really appreciate you tuning in. Okay, Michelle, and we're back on the naughty list. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate. I can't wait till we get to Total Recall and we have to discuss the 3 boobs. So
we have discussed the 3 boobs. What else
I
is
know,
there
but
left to talk about the 3 boobs? The technology exists and no one is doing it, so it definitely cannot be.
We're gonna talk about it again.
The way to go. So everyone's telling me to put the alcohol in first. Yeah, so I'm gonna alcohol first next time because I feel like I got it all in one shot off the top. But anyways, this is Rob Gaudet. This guy over here. This guy over here is Rob Gaudet.
And
that's
John.
Follow him on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow my antics on Instagram, jho.heroesworld. If you are not listening to the audio or following the audio, the Sidekick Show can be found on iTunes and Spotify. Please rate and subscribe if you are on those platforms. And I don't know if there's anything else we want to shout out.
No, that's it. Tune in if you haven't listened to this week's main podcast, the Heroes World Show with John, myself, Andre, and Stu. It's already loaded up on YouTube and on again where John just mentioned, where you can get your all your podcasts if you're listening to it through any other service. So please listen to that. We talk about WandaVision. We talk about Ken Lashley. We talk about swapping characters from one universe to the next, and what comic book would you want to be rebooted? So we talk about a lot. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Definitely check it out. Definitely check out the website, Heroes World. Lots of cool stuff came out this week.
I'm gonna tie it up next episode. Sarah's making fun of me. I'm notorious for fixing my hair on the stream because I'm looking at a picture of me and Rob. And I feel like I'm in a mirror, and whenever I'm in a mirror, I try to fix my hair.
Wait, you think you're looking at me like we're in a mirror when you're looking at me?
No, I'm like, shut up. Yeah. I feel like when I see Rob, I feel like I'm looking in a mirror. All right. Go on, Rob. Right. Sorry, Common Craig, you missed this. Definitely set up your click the reminder, so hopefully you can jump on to us sooner. I know.
Yes, Comic Book Craig, we did. If you want to comment on the YouTube, once this thing is up on YouTube, comment on that and I'll respond to it. I did see that Steppenwolf clip tonight. Zack Snyder, stop doing things in black and white. That's all I'm going to say. We got to go.
Yeah, he did a Superman clip too. Anyways, but thank you very much, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys later in the week or next